The internet never really sleeps. It watches, it waits, and when someone slips, even for a second, it pounces without mercy. And right now, all eyes are back on Arionne. Again. Just when people thought the drama had finally cooled down, just when it seemed like the noise might fade into the background, she went live, and everything exploded all over again. What started as another attempt to defend herself quickly turned into a public breakdown that left viewers stunned. Voices cracked, tears threatened to fall, and in the middle of it all, one name kept coming up like a ghost she just couldn't outrun: Melody. Because no matter how much time passes, no matter how many explanations are given, Arionne seems stuck in the same place, still angry, still defensive, still swinging at Melody's character as if tearing her down might somehow lift herself up. But here's the thing about the internet: it doesn't forget, and it definitely doesn't forgive easily. And this time, the dragging was ruthless. No sympathy, no soft landings, just brutal honesty from people who feel like they've heard enough. The question now isn't what Arionne said, it's why she keeps saying it, and what it's really doing to her in the process. Before all of this, before the lives, the think pieces, the endless comment wars, Arionne was just another woman living her life outside the spotlight. No viral clips, no strangers analyzing her tone or her motives. She wasn't a headline, she wasn't a villain, she wasn't even a topic of discussion. Back then, Melody and Martel were the public couple, a family, a brand. To many people watching from the outside, they represented stability, success, and unity. Melody, especially, was admired. She carried herself with confidence, ambition, and a sense of grace that made people root for her. She wasn't just a wife, she was a woman building something real for herself and her children. Arionne existed outside that world, separate, unknown. And that's important to remember, because nobody grows up dreaming of becoming the other woman in a story that millions of people feel emotionally invested in. Nobody signs up to be dissected by strangers who don't know their heart, their past, or their pain. But life has a way of pulling people into situations they aren't ready for. And when Martel entered Arionne's life, everything changed. At first, it may have felt exciting, affirming, like attention she didn't even realize she was craving. There are always promises in these situations, always words whispered in private that paint a future that doesn't quite exist yet. What nobody sees in real time is how quickly those situations turn toxic, how manipulation hides behind charm, how secrecy slowly becomes normal, and how by the time the truth comes crashing down, it's already too late to walk away clean. When the affair became public, the fallout was immediate and unforgiving. Melody stepped away with quiet strength, choosing not to scream into the void or drag her pain across social media. She focused on her children, her work, and her healing. And that silence, it spoke louder than any rant ever could. Arionne, on the other hand, was thrown into the fire. Suddenly, she wasn't just a woman who made a mistake. She was a symbol, a target, the embodiment of betrayal in the eyes of people who saw themselves in Melody's pain. And from that moment on, nothing she did would ever be viewed without suspicion. But here's where things took a darker turn. Instead of stepping back, reflecting, and letting time do its work, Arionne leaned into the chaos. Lives became frequent, defenses became aggressive, and Melody, the woman who had already lost her marriage, became the constant focus of Arionne's frustration. This latest breakdown didn't come out of nowhere. It was the result of months, even years of unresolved anger and a deep need to rewrite the narrative. When Arionne went live again, people expected more of the same: excuses, deflection, blame shifting. But what they got was something far more revealing. At first, she tried to sound composed, calm, in control, but it didn't take long before the cracks started to show. Her voice wavered, her words stumbled over themselves, and then came the familiar pattern: attacks on Melody's character, subtle at first, then sharper, more pointed. She questioned Melody's intentions, her image, her authenticity, as if pulling apart Melody's reputation might finally ease the weight sitting on her own chest. But what nobody expected was how quickly the audience turned on her. The comments were brutal. People weren't buying it anymore. They weren't interested in hearing why Melody wasn't perfect or why Arionne felt misunderstood. The patience had run out, and instead of sympathy, Arionne was met with a wall of criticism that cut deeper than anything before. Why are you still talking about her? Why can't you let it go? Why are you still attacking the woman you already hurt? Those questions flooded the chat, and you could see it hit her in real time. The defensiveness spiked, her tone shifted, and suddenly the breakdown wasn't just emotional, it was raw. She insisted she was tired of being painted as the villain, tired of being blamed for everything, tired of people acting like Melody was flawless. And in that moment, it became painfully clear this wasn't about Melody anymore. It never really was. This was about shame, about regret, about a story that refuses to end because the lesson hasn't been learned yet. As the live continued, Arionne spiraled deeper. She brought up old wounds, old arguments, old justifications that people had already heard 100 times. And every time she tried to explain herself, the audience pushed back harder. What nobody expected was the emotional collapse that followed. Her voice cracked, her eyes filled, and for a brief moment, the anger dropped, revealing something far more uncomfortable: vulnerability. She asked why nobody ever gives her grace, why her pain doesn't matter, why she's not allowed to move on. But the truth is, moving on doesn't start with dragging someone else through the mud. Healing doesn't come from constant comparison, and accountability can't exist when blame is always pointed outward. People weren't reacting to her pain, they were reacting to the unrelenting attacks on Melody's character, the refusal to let that woman live in peace, the constant need to reopen a wound that Melody herself has worked so hard to close. And that's why the dragging was so severe this time, because viewers weren't just annoyed, they were disappointed. They wanted growth, reflection, something different. Instead, they got the same bitterness wrapped in new tears. The emotional impact of this moment goes far beyond one live video. For Arionne, it reinforced the very narrative she's been fighting against. Every outburst, every attack, every defensive rant pulls her deeper into the role she claims she never wanted. You could see how exhausted she was, mentally, emotionally, carrying a weight that doesn't get lighter when you refuse to put it down. The internet may be cruel, but it also mirrors back what people show it, and right now, what it sees is a woman still trapped in a moment that has already passed. For Melody, the contrast couldn't be clearer. She continues to move forward, build, grow, stay silent, and that silence, it's powerful. It tells a story of someone who refuses to be dragged back into chaos, someone who understands that peace doesn't come from winning arguments. It comes from walking away, sitting with the truth, and choosing to do better even when nobody is watching. And here's the hardest truth of all: no amount of attacking Melody will ever rewrite the past. No explanation will erase the hurt that was caused, and no breakdown, no matter how emotional, can replace accountability and growth. The powerful thing about this moment is that it doesn't have to be the end of the story. It could be the turning point, the moment where Arionne finally chooses silence over chaos, healing over clapping back, growth over grudges. But that choice has to be made offline, away from the lives, away from the comments, away from the need to defend and explain, because the internet isn't a therapist, it's a courtroom with no closing arguments. Right now, Arionne stands at a crossroads. One path keeps her trapped in an endless cycle of breakdowns, backlash, and bitterness. The other requires humility, reflection, and the courage to let go of a narrative that no longer serves her. The dragging will stop when the attacks stop. The peace will come when she chooses herself over the past. And maybe one day, this story won't be remembered as a breakdown, a dragging, or another chapter of chaos. Maybe it'll be remembered as the moment everything finally stopped and real healing began. And here's the part that really sits heavy when the cameras turn off and the comments stop scrolling. This situation isn't just internet drama anymore. It's a mirror, a reflection of what happens when pain goes unhealed and pride refuses to step aside. Because the truth is, no amount of explaining will ever undo what's already been done, and no amount of attacking someone else bring peace to your own heart. At some point, survival has to turn into growth, silence has to replace shouting, and accountability has to come before sympathy. The internet may be ruthless, but it also responds to change, real change, the kind that doesn't need a live video or a clapback to prove it. What makes this story so uncomfortable is that it's not over, because the lesson hasn't been learned yet. Healing doesn't happen in comment sections. Closure doesn't come from winning arguments. It comes from walking away, sitting with the truth, and choosing to do better, even when nobody is watching. And maybe one day this won't be remembered as a breakdown, a dragging, or another chapter of chaos. Maybe it'll be remembered as the moment everything finally stopped and real healing began.